Okay, so we go ahead and talk about Bray Wyatt, and now he had a rise, and then it just came crashing down. Now we go to a guy who had I'm still debating between if Bray Wyatt or Finn Balor had the worst year ever, though. Whereas Finn Balor had like a couple of months off because he was still injured at the time when 2017 started off. But yeah, it looked like something I think it was going on, and then at the end of the year they just said fuck it, let's get rid of him, pretty much. So Finn Balor, after he had gotten injured by Seth Rollins, and I must stress accidentally, because Bret Hart will not let this part go, even though he has apologized since then. Yeah, is it because fans were making statements against him? Even WWE, like JBL, who I will not mention as much as I would, because if I did, I will be furious. Yeah. Anyways, Finn Balor, during his recovery, they go ahead and discuss about his time when he was recuperating. He made a couple appearances at other wrestling promotions. And now when I think about it, I'm thinking, wait, I didn't mention that when Jimmy Jacobs was fired. So let's see if I get this straight. Finn Balor, who is still under contract with WWE, can show up at another wrestling company show. But if someone takes a picture with his buddies who are from another wrestling company, that somehow gets them fired. Whereas going to a show, which could actually boost ticket sales and actually build up the UK audience, since WWE wants to exploit that market with the United Kingdom Championship tournament and then the UK show they're producing soon, that wouldn't cause a problem for Vince's mentality of insanity. Yeah. So, while recovering, Balor would appear on the WWE Network exclusive UK Championship Tournament event, and it was good to see him. Looks like he's doing well. And originally it was said that they wanted him to come back in time for Royal Rumble. Sadly, that didn't happen. In fact, some people were debating, was he originally supposed to fight The Undertaker? Well, I don't really know about that. I'm still on the up and up on that report. Like, I don't think that was true because they built Reigns up for that for months, and okay, screw that. It's not months, it's been years since, keep Roman strong, everybody. To the point I actually think they're starting a religion around him in the corporate office, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. So, yeah. Finn Balor, like, everyone, and I also had believed, like, okay, let's see, Finn Balor's not back for that. And then when Samoa Joe made his debut and inadvertently injured Seth Rollins, yet he does not get heat for that, surprisingly to the corporate execs. And in fact, I'm not even going to mention Bret Hart because I'm not sadistic on that. Like, Bret Hart liking that Seth Rollins guy's comeuppance for something that was not really his fault. It's an accident. It happens in every single wrestling business. Yes, Bret Hart never, quote, injured anybody, but still. But here's the thing. When Fastlane came around, okay, when Finn Balor was still Universal Champion and had he not gotten injured, he was supposed to keep the title for what seemed like a while. At least that's what I think it was. Like, they were going to do Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor round 2 at Clash of Champions, and then do Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell, which would have been awesome. And then after that, no idea what would happen. Probably Chris Jericho gets involved later on in the feud. But, that leads to a very questionable thing. If Finn Balor was still champion by the time Fastlane happened, and since Goldberg's return happened, and, well, it was confirmed that he had signed some more deals to make a couple more appearances, wrestle 2 to 3 more matches, and one of them beating Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship within 26 seconds, does that mean Finn Balor would have lost to Goldberg? Like, yeah, like, Kevin Owens' booking it was destined to fail when the way they were booking him as Universal Champion. And then when they started, and then like when he turned on Chris Jericho, it's like the creative team just realized, oh shit, we don't have anything to make him an actual threat to Goldberg other than age reasons, but we're not going to be that until at least Alexa Bliss and Mickie James happened. So start making Kevin Owens serious and more powerful. And sadly, that doesn't work because we don't even actually get a goddamn match out of it. We just get Kevin Owens being made a fool of by Chris Jericho, causing Goldberg to win. Which I still say is the most ironic moment because, think about it, Chris Jericho and Goldberg in real life actually hate each other. Well, mostly Goldberg because of what happened in WCW with the whole feud that Chris Jericho was trying to get started and have Goldberg beat him. And he wanted it to be on pay-per-view because it's been built up to the point that fans want to see Goldberg viciously murder him. And Goldberg still hated that idea for some reason, even though Jericho wasn't going to actually win. He was all right with losing. He just wanted it on pay-per-view just to prove himself that he can make a sale for people. But WCW is run by monkeys at this point, mostly Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, and Goldberg, and Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall. Let's see, who else was basically running the company besides the actual owners? Sting, to an extent. Warrior was given some powerful control over the management system. DDP. There's so many people, so I still say that was huge irony that Chris Jericho assisted Goldberg to get the title win. And, yeah. So, anyways, when that happened, I was thinking, like, what would have happened if it was Finn Balor versus Goldberg if that was the original intention? If Finn Balor made it to Fastlane as Universal Champion, if he not gotten injured? Would it not... It probably... Like, the only thing I could think of is, at best... Because they don't want Goldberg to work a long match because Goldberg can't physically do a long match like that, especially with someone like Finn Balor. Because the last time they tried to do a long match, William Regal couldn't even get a good match out of him, and that was only 6 minutes long. Yeah. And I'm not even going to count Triple H's feuds with Goldberg because at the time when he was fighting Goldberg, he had a groin injury. And yet they still let him wrestle. They just have him wear longer tights. As if that was supposed to mean something. And I still don't get it. So, yeah. At best, I would think that considering Samoa Joe made his debut a month before Fastlane, after the Royal Rumble, it only stands to reason that at best Finn Balor was going to fight Samoa Joe at WrestleMania to reignite their feud from NXT, with no direct mention of it because fuck that. And Samoa Joe was going to fight Finn Balor at WrestleMania. That's the best case theory, since both Finn Balor and Samoa Joe would ultimately not participate in WrestleMania, despite that Finn Balor would return into the ring on March 10th, which was a couple of weeks away before WrestleMania, but because there was not enough time to build anything up, and, you know, they wanted to be safe in case anything happened, so they were testing the waters with the live show, with the house shows, he had to skip out on his first WrestleMania and has to wait till next year. And considering the recent things that have happened with Finn Balor, I don't even think that's even going to happen. So Balor made his televised return after WrestleMania on Raw, teaming with the former rival Seth Rollins and the guy who injured him to take on Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe in a winning effort. And then... afterwards, it seems like, oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome. What's next? Then something happened. He comes back. He's back again on TV a week after the Raw return. He fights Jinder Mahal. He gets injured with a concussion. Yeah. And look how Jinder Mahal did. He had a title reign for 6 goddamn months with the WWE Championship after moving to Raw. After moving to SmackDown. By the way, Kurt Hawkins is still losing, and I'll get to Kurt Hawkins in a little bit at the end of this video. Oh, God. And then he would also get ominous warnings from Bray Wyatt, and then also confronting Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, which they don't even, like, fans were clearly saying, oh, it's finally happening, never mind. So fans clearly want to see Bálor form Bálor Club with the two buddies of his. Like, they basically did join up with him when they formed the Bullet Club. In fact, wasn't Carl Anderson a co-leader at one point? So, and I believe it was at Payback, Finn Balor had stated his intention was to eventually get to Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. However, yeah. Finn Balor doesn't get that opportunity at Extreme Rules when he loses to Samoa Joe, which surprised me and also worried me. At best, I thought the guy who was going to take the fall to any one of these opponents was going to be Bray Wyatt because, well, it's Bray Wyatt. Why the fuck would he be taken seriously according to Vince's logic? Or Seth Rollins because, yeah, Seth Rollins is practically directionless right now at that time. Because, well, his feud with Triple H is practically over with. Stephanie McMahon is selling his injury, surprisingly. So, where else is he supposed to go? And Roman Reigns, oh yeah, fuck that. We can't have Roman Reigns lose clean. That would take too much pain for people. Also, when the WWE 24 episode of Finn Balor aired, it aired the same day where Finn Balor wrestled on Raw. Yeah, he loses to Roman Reigns. Yeah, that's a strange tradition they do. Whenever they do a WWE 24, the subject in focus, if they're on television, for some reason is mocked, insulted, or if they're a wrestler, they lose. Yeah, like, with the exception of the first one, then we got Booker T, and what happened with Booker T? Triple H insulted him, degraded him, humiliated him, and threatened to fire him for daring to have an opinion. Okay. Yeah. And now Finn Balor repeats the cycle by losing to Roman Reigns in an awesome match, but seriously should be questioning why this happened. So, in the weeks leading up to SummerSlam, Finn Balor began a feud with Elias Samson by interrupting Elias' performance on June 19th. And then Samson, being triggered, who would eventually be just known as Elias because long names are complex for children and that would hurt their minds. Even though everyone has the first and last name. Balor was attacked by Samson after that and defeated him 2 weeks later, but was defeated in a no DQ match after an interference from Bray Wyatt on July 24th episode of Raw, which was an interesting dynamic how Finn Balor just seemingly snaps and goes crazy. And he's also the first person to be hit by the acoustic equalizer, popularized by Jeff Jarrett. However, they don't want to mention him because Vince fired him on TV, humiliating him publicly, and he has never returned since. Mostly because he went to form his own company and that failed miserably, and then tried to do it again, and once again is failing miserably. And now he's in rehab, working at independent shows because of an alcohol problem. He's back out again. No idea how progress is that on. So, and on August 14th episode of Raw, which was my birthday, and I got the greatest gift I could get. Adam Cole's going to NXT that day. Yeah, that was the same day, so I call that an early present for Triple H, so fuck that. Anyways, Balor, for surprisingly, what fought Bray Wyatt in a singles match, giving away the pay-per-view. And considering how the match was on Raw, I was like, yeah, I have no hope for this match. Like, at least Roman Reigns and Rusev delivered an awesome match, so that could be also because they were given more time, because when Raw was gaining identity before the Cruiserweights, they needed to fill up some time, so, okay, let's put longer matches in. Which, you know, would have actually helped Raw a lot if they still did not do 205 division, and, yeah, they could have actually done, you know, that evil thing called character development. And remember, Vince hates that. We can't have identifiable characters. So Finn Balor is poured with blood-like substance all over him. Yeah. And Finn Balor says, "I got my demons too." And I'll get to that in a moment. The Lexman brought this up, and I actually thought that was an awesome idea. But anyways, on August 20th, Finn Balor returns as the Demon King and defeats Bray Wyatt. I've already talked about how that match was on Bray Wyatt's video, so I'm not even going to mention it. So then, Balor competes in a #1 contendership battle royale for the IC title on August 28th, thinking his feud with Bray Wyatt was done, only to be eliminated by Bray Wyatt right before he has a chance to win. And then Wyatt challenged Balor to a match at No Mercy, but against Balor rather than the Demon King. And yeah, once again, the match sucked. And then the following night, Balor made his intentions to regain the Universal Championship. And, yeah, he was again confronted by Bray Wyatt because he's now starting to snap, and Bray Wyatt offers to introduce Sister Abigail to him. Yeah, that was horrible. And Finn Balor on the final Raw. Okay. Okay, so the red, black, and white painting, like, yeah, that wasn't that. Yeah, like, so how do you? So like, okay, how do you explain this part? Finn Balor. We go to a close-up of Finn Balor, and then we just see him transform into the Demon King persona, but with Halloween colors. Really? That's it? And the way you did it was so... Like, okay. I'd just like to point this out. Finn Balor is not The Undertaker. He is not Kane. Must I stress this? This is the same problem I have with Braun Strowman. They keep putting him in murder angles, and he somehow comes out alright with no injuries. Specifically the dumpster one, because at least he did get scars from the ambulance, and we saw him emerge under his own power. But the dumpster one, no. The only reason why I would buy Undertaker or Kane surviving something like that is because their characters are based on being supernatural. Finn Balor isn't goddamn supernatural. They never established that. At best, he can do a split personality or multiple personality disorder. But at best, he's not. But at worst, supernatural is not the good idea for him. Okay. So that match never happened, thank God. And thank God Wyatt's Sister Abigail persona, which was going to fail epically because this was a bastardization of everything Wyatt's character was supposed to be based on. And instead, Finn Balor would fight AJ Styles and was like, "Yay! We're going to have an awesome match!" And then we got an awesome match, but before that, after the whole Bullet Club invasion of outside the Raw arena happened, and, you know, Jimmy Jacobs was fired because he dare want to be hanging out with his buddies who just happened to work for a different company. Vince not only did fire him for that stupidity because he took a photo op with them, like, hey, it's not gonna harm anybody. And besides, he's a talented writer. Oh, wait, Vince is stupid, so he can't operate with logic. And Vince McMahon then orders the cease and desist letter over the Too Sweet gesture. I've already ranted enough about that, but okay, really, how does this relate to Balor? Oh, I don't know, because Balor started it with Bullet Club. Like, he spread the Too Sweet gesture in Bullet Club. Because, you know, Kevin Nash gave permission, Scott Hall gave permission. I'm certain Triple H doesn't give two shits if they do the Too Sweet gesture. In fact, the only guy that we have known that's offended that someone outside the company is using the Too Sweet gesture is Vince McMahon. So he's doing the same thing he did when Shinsuke Nakamura made a botched German suplex that landed on Cena's neck, despite Cena and Nakamura apologizing, saying, and Cena's being the gentleman saying, oh, no, you don't have to apologize, I get it was an accident. Vince decides, no, I'm offended for him. You know, like an SJW gets. So basically, Vince McMahon is somehow doesn't believe in the internet. As far as I'm concerned, he doesn't use it, but believing in it, that's a different matter. Mostly the politicians probably don't believe in the internet for a variety of reasons. So I'm just led to speculate. Vince doesn't use the internet, but is somehow able to adapt to internet culture of SJW mentality. Yeah. So I was always thinking, what does Finn Balor think about seeing his buddies in Bullet Club being punished for something? Whether he knows, whether I think fans kind of forgot about this or not, but since he's the guy who founded Bullet Club, sure, technically, since he also brung in the Too Sweet gesture, he could technically be argued as kind of inadvertently causing this. Yeah, I wonder how Balor feels. Like, he's seeing his buddies in the Bullet Club having to suffer for something that he brought over because he got permission from Nash, from Hall, Triple H didn't care, Shawn Michaels was alright with it. X-Pac, I believe, was alright with it. Like, he's buddies with all of them. So, yeah, there's still no sound logic here. But Vince says, no, I trademarked it. Even though I failed in the court case because they said it was too stupid of an idea to trademark a hand symbol. I bought WCW. That's where it originated from. Even though Kevin Nash started doing the Too Sweet gesture before, when he was in WWE, and he didn't do it when his first run in WCW, so basically the logic I'm doing here makes no sense. So, oh my god, will someone please fire him? If only that was possible. So, AJ Styles and Finn Balor fight. It's an awesome match. And then they do the Too Sweet symbol. Now, a lot of people were iffy on that, considering the recent incidents in the last few weeks, like with Jimmy Jacobs and the Young Bucks being punished for daring to use a hand gesture that wasn't vulgar in any way. Like, to Vince, I'm pretty sure when he sees another guy do the Too Sweet gesture, is someone doing the Hitler salute. So, yeah. They gesture the Too Sweet symbol to each other following the match. Okay, a lot of people kept wondering, is this a shot at the Young Bucks? Well, Finn Balor and AJ Styles disputed that, saying, no, it's not a shot at the Young Bucks. It was us. It was two guys who really respected each other. We come basically from the same background in terms of Bullet Club group, and we also worked in Japan, so yeah, it only felt simple as respect for each other. And also familiarity. Everyone loved it. Yeah, I could buy them doing it, but considering how management operates, okay, I'm not disputing Styles and Balor did that out of respect for each other and that was just their moment together, but management might have a different mentality, because after that photo was taken of the Bullet Club, of the Too Sweet hand gesture, for some reason WWE took the picture, uploaded it as a header on their Twitter page, and I was like, why? Okay, like I said, I'm not disputing Finn Balor and Styles wanting to just have this great moment with each other and feel like nothing around the match. It's just these two guys who have immense respect for each other. I'm not going to I'm not going to dispute that. But it's confusing that WWE did it. So, if WWE decide, hey look, they're doing the hand gesture. Okay, let's try and twist what they say and use it as a photo as a way to give the middle finger to the Young Bucks because we're that fucking petty at everything. So, yeah. So after that awesome match with Styles and Finn Balor, you would think, okay, so Bray Wyatt's out, so basically their feud ended inconclusively, but thank God it did, or else we would have Sister Abigail, Michael Norman Bates style, but very badly done. So, yeah, it looks like it's time to move on. Hey, we got a Universal Championship match to look forward to. Like, that's been said to be the plan for Survivor Series. Okay, let's see how that goes. The first night, the Raw after TLC, he loses to Kane after 2 choke slams with very little effort from Kane being struck. Oh no. Yeah, everyone was wondering what the hell happened. Hell, it was reported that everyone in the back were wondering, dude, what was the whole point of that? Yeah, man, in a recently further oppressed grip of oppression by Vince McMahon, you would think the talent would learn their lesson. Clearly, they are starting to think, you know, this guy who has lost his mind on several occasions over the last several years alone regarding Bad News Bear, Cesaro, Bo Dallas, Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan, and so many other guys might be a little insane in the membrane. Yeah. So, yeah, nothing gets forward with... Yeah, people were wondering what the hell was going on with that. And then, they never bring that up again to an extent till, a month after Survivor Series. And after Samoa Joe and Finn Balor fought each other, for some reason, to a draw, because they want to kill each other, even though they haven't referenced their NXT feud, at all. I believe. I think they referenced it, once, but at best they just try to erase that moment, because, NXT is a completely different world. That it doesn't exist on the main roster. NXT is the devil. That's their prerogative. For some reason, Kurt Angle, because he's being written by an idiot and who has no sense of common sense after just seeing Balor and Joe try and kill each other on Raw, were both named members as part of Team Raw for Survivor Series. Vince did not think this through, did he? Yeah. So, yeah, let's see, and I talked about this already. There's only 2 good guys in the group. You could say Strowman, but he was still sort of in limbo with that. And I never mentioned this about Strowman in either the Survivor Series video or his Floss video on 2017. But Strowman, okay, he was in the same ring beating up SmackDown guys and smiling at Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose as if what happened a month ago never existed. Yeah, that actually happened. Strowman looked at them, smiling yeah, do the triple powerbomb that in no way happened to me on a table. And I'm thinking wow, Vince, you just really fucking hate us, do you? Do you really operate what happened a month ago doesn't exist because Reigns got sick? And we would love to forget the Wyatt Sister Abigail angle they were going with. And, dear God, we wished. However, Vince will most likely bring that back because we need to castrate Wyatt's mentality even more. So, yeah, back to that. Braun's sort of in the middle at this point, and could still be argued he is. Kurt Angle's a good guy. Finn Balor's a good guy. Triple H is a heel. Samoa Joe is a heel. And Braun Strowman's in the middle. Oh, look, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe are getting at it with each other. Oh, look, Kurt Angle and Triple H are getting at it with each other. Braun Strowman is just wondering, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? Which has become a meme now after the match happened. And he actually contributed in getting John Cena eliminated, and because of that, he's immediately eliminated by RKOing Randy Orton. Yeah. So, okay. When people were wondering what the hell was going on, a report came out that confirmed our fears. The plan was going to be Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble, and let's be honest, it was going to end with Brock Lesnar winning and going on to fight Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, because you really think he's going to work at Elimination Chamber inside the Elimination Chamber? He would have to work on... No, at best, he'd probably come out last, so therefore that could still happen, but at best, he'll come out last. So, yeah, Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar, even though we all knew what was going to happen, at least we would have been taking seriously that, yeah, we see Finn Balor as a main event guy who can hang with the beast, just like we do with AJ Styles. However, that match was scrapped. Cancelled. Why? Well... Now, if they had just said, okay, here's the thing, and I'm not saying that's a good idea because even then that logic makes no sense. They never said the injury card. They never said because he's capable, because he's injury prone. They never gave that logic. And even then it still would be bullshit because, okay, let's see. How many times has Randy Orton broken his arms due to his hypermobile shoulders? How many times? Didn't he break his collarbone twice? One was in the ring and another was in a motorcycle accident. Or am I thinking of Batista and that was another event from 2004? No, wait, 2003. Let's see. That's just naming a few moments. Let's see. Oh, I got it. Didn't John Cena like get injured a lot and yet still put him in the main event slot, and yet gave him world titles? Roman Reigns got a hernia, yet still pushed him in the main event of WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar, no less. Let's see. If I'm correct on this, let's see. Oh, Stone Cold Steve Austin had neck injuries after Owen Hart botching it, and he still got pushed to the main event scene. The Rock got injured once, so I'm not going to count that during his full-time run, as far as I know. Triple H tore his quad twice, still gets pushed in the main event scene, and even wins world titles to the point that he's the third most held title reign in WWE. One more. I know there's a lot more, but let's just go with the most prominent one. Mick Foley. Like, my God. Do I even need to explain Mick Foley? He's made a career off of getting injured. And, let's see, he was in the main event scene God knows how many times. He won the world title 3 times in 1 year. And he was getting injured left and right every single week, essentially. And doing crazy bumps. So, and I also want to mention the Undertaker because, did he wrestle matches even though he was injured, like he had busted ribs? He still went out and worked, and look what got rewarded for him. A WrestleMania undefeated streak, which was ruined by Brock Lesnar beating him, even though there's a bunch of reasons why, other than the fact that Undertaker lost. I didn't care if Undertaker lost. I was all for the streak ending, I just didn't like that Lesnar got it. Let's see, so that happened. And that's not the reason. Even then, like I said, if they pulled the injury bug, all those people I just listed all got injured at some point. They got world title runs. So, and main event pushes. So what was the reason why Finn Balor wasn't going to get pushed anymore? They were basically done with him. He's not over enough to fight Brock Lesnar. Do Vince not see what he just said? I mean, really think about this. I know Vince doesn't have a brain as much as he used to. He wants to be stupid about everything nowadays. Okay. Why can't he just, I don't know, give him compelling storylines? Why are you cooling his jets even though there was nothing heated at all? Like, the Styles Balor match happened and that was awesome, but then you destroyed it, and now you don't want to push him ever again now because he's not over enough, even though, I mean, like, let's be honest. Let's see, what was Finn Balor doing all this year? Okay, as I mentioned, do nothing, say nothing, lose matches, mostly his first pay-per-view return match, he loses. Let's see. Have a lackluster Bray Wyatt feud that was going to end in horrible disaster, but by saving grace, Bray Wyatt sadly had to get sick because of it to cancel it. And that feud never really had a conclusion. And yeah, what else was Finn Balor doing all this year? Yeah, he wasn't doing that much. Like, yeah, from what I've said, yeah, it sounds like he was doing that much, but he was just floundering around. So, yeah. And then, like, and then I'm like, and you're wondering why he's not over as the way you think? Like, do you not see the entire arena throwing their arms in the air when Finn Balor does the throwing arms in the air? That doesn't count? That doesn't count as over or not as over enough? Like, you're banking on because he worked in Japan that suddenly equals, oh, well, he's clearly Prince Devitt from Japan. Didn't Prince Devitt have a compelling character, was allowed to be who he was, whereas in WWE you're forced down to be generic as all fuck. And those who try to get over organically with even the most stupidest idea, they're punished for it. Bad news, Barrett. So, yeah, how about you write a compelling storyline for him? Oh, wait, that would take too much effort. So, yeah, Finn Balor, and here's the saddest thing I have to say it. The biggest thing Finn Balor did throughout 2017 was just make jokes about it on Twitter. That's his biggest highlight. That's the biggest contribution he's done throughout this entire year. Yeah, he's done good matches, I'll give him that, but there's no story for it. There's no moment of character. There's no reward for it. It doesn't mean a thing. And the one feud he had that was supposed to go somewhere stops because Wyatt gets sick, they have to cancel it, so there's no conclusion, so that makes the whole storyline pointless. So yeah, his thing on Twitter where he makes jokes about being over, and even changing his name from just Finn Balor to be Finn Balor Forever, with the words for over all in all caps. And even making jokes about how he's over and whatnot, and doing jokes on Thanksgiving, and how he's overcooked the turkey or something. That's the most he's done. That actually is counting as a highlight. That is unbelievably sad. I can't believe I'm going to have to say this, but Enzo Amore did more for 2017 than Finn Balor did. And that's mostly because booking hates him. So yeah, for the remainder of December, Finn Balor's doing nothing. He's just fighting matches that don't really mean a thing. He's getting beat up by the Miztourage of all people. That doesn't go anywhere. Hideo Itami saves him. That doesn't go anywhere. Like, everyone was hoping, like, oh, maybe Hideo Itami will betray Finn Balor and they could do a feud, and Hideo Itami's delay to 205 Live doesn't happen. Nope, that doesn't happen. He just moves to 205 Live. Oh, and also, speaking of Hideo Itami, yeah, he's only done the GTS twice on the main roster. He's now banned from it. Yeah, because Brian Kendrick got injured by it, means he can't use it anymore. Even though that kind of waters everything down and only further highlights the fact that, Hideo Itami's run is dead on arrival now. Hideo, just go back to Japan. It'd be much better for you. So, yeah. And his final match of the year, is beating Kurt Hawkins. The third guy he fought when he came back. And to add insult to already established injury, Kane and Braun Strowman are given the reward to fight Brock Lesnar. Finn Balor doesn't get the chance. And, okay, I know you can't really force a storyline. Oh, wait, you actually can, because you keep using the whole rematch clause he's given to go after the Universal Championship, so you could still insert him in there. Yes, it would sound forced, but at least it would have had a legitimate, logical reason. But for the one time you can use the copped-out rematch clause in their contract, you don't do it. So, yeah, and this goes to Deluxe Man and what he said when he was talking about how Finn Balor's been screwed by the WWE, specifically Vince. I wonder, I'm curious, how does Triple H feel? He spent like, what, 2 to 3 years building Finn Balor up in NXT only to be tossed to the side and feeling proud that he was finally going to make a huge run with the Universal Championship as the first ever champion, only to be injured and then afterwards screwed over by Vince McMahon because Vince McMahon doesn't like him for some reason or doesn't think he's over enough, even though they're not even trying with him. Yeah, Yeah, I hope Triple H is fuming backstage and is trying his damnedest not to want to punch Vince in the face. Because, like, yeah, like, you worked your ass off giving this guy storyline after storyline of compelling runs, of doing interesting things, only for Vince to say, he's not over enough, I'm not even going to give him a chance. So, yeah. So that brings up to Deluxe Man. He talked about a storyline idea that I honestly thought was a good idea, but because this is main roster villain, not NXT or anywhere else that specifically, they're never going to want to do this. Okay, we just seen the Demon King persona. Why don't we get other demon personas in Finn Balor? Like, look, if they're going to make Braun Strowman Jason Voorhees, they're going to make Bray Wyatt a weaker version of Norman Bates. Yeah, you might as well go with Finn Balor thinking he's the Exorcist demon. Or the devil. Like, have Finn Balor not just be called the Demon King, be called the Harbinger of Demons. That would be an awesome idea. Like, imagine it. Finn Balor becomes more and more schizophrenically unstable and just snaps every time. And it feels like he's battling his demon. And then all of a sudden, when everyone suspects that it's going to be the same Demon King look, no, it's not. It's a completely different look to Finn Balor. And he does a different thing in the ring. Like, he's like a different person. Like, imagine if they did a storyline like that. That would be awesome and would get me invested. More so other than name recognition. You know, make a character. But they can't even get Roman Reigns done right. So what hope do they have to do something interesting like that? And let's be honest, Vince, even if someone in creative walked up to him and say, here's the plan we could do. Here's an idea how we could get Finn Balor over to fight Brock Lesnar. Vince will look at it and says, this is the politically correct era. We are not supposed to scare children with demonic possessions, multiple personality disorder, or even split personality disorder. We can't do that. We think of the children. And even then, that creative guy should probably tell Vince off and say, Vince, that's complete bullshit because, let's see, didn't you have Bray Wyatt yell kill on TV this year? And also, let's see, didn't you have Roman Reigns attempt murder? Didn't you have Braun Strowman almost practically get killed and somehow reemerge as Jason Voorhees? Didn't you also go ahead and do a bunch of murder angles with Strowman trying to murder Roman Reigns on like 3 occasions in one night? And that was just this year alone. Oh, and didn't you also tell Seth Rollins to threaten to paralyze and/or kill and say the word kill to Edge, who has a history of neck problems? Yeah, Vince, you're not making sense with this. Like, so let's see if I get this straight. We can use murder angles, attempted murder angles, and have people be set on fire, but we can't just do multiple personality disorder, or psychotic gimmicks, or demonic possessions. We can't do that. Really? We're seriously not allowed to do that for some reason? And you want to know what? And I mentioned this in the comment section on Deluxe Man's video regarding Finn Balor. Here's the thing. They kind of already suggested that was going to be an idea at one point in NXT. Yeah, the first time Kevin Owens and Finn Balor fought, which was at an NXT show, a taped episode that was a standard tape episode, Kevin Owens defending his championship against Finn Balor, and this was during the Golden Age, I must stress. And Finn Balor Finn Balor was saying to himself and saying to everybody that he can beat Kevin Owens without the need for the demon. And then Kevin Owens, every time when Kevin Owens started pounding into Finn Balor, he kept screaming at the top of his lungs saying, "Show me the demon! Let the demon out!" And I was thinking like, okay, that is Wyatt's thing. You do not steal Wyatt's thing. Because at this time, Wyatt was still kind of awesome, and then they screwed it all up big time. So, yeah, NXT had this idea to have the Demon King be a separate entity instead of just a paint job gimmick. So, yeah. Why can't they do that? Why can't they do the demon split personality or demonic possessions or harbinger demons gimmick on the main roster? Because it will scare children? Even though you've done murder angles, you've done cursing, you've threatened to kill people, you've had characters directly say they want to kill people, okay, let's see, Edge also kidnapped a guy, locked him in the freezer, and then came through, accidentally pushed him off and almost murdered Paul Bearer. Surprisingly, that was on SmackDown. And Edge even Edge didn't seem to care that Kane almost murdered the guy who was the closest to his father accidentally, when he just said, "Dude, I warned you." Like, oh wow, you didn't even give a shit, did you? Wow, that's cruel. So, yeah. Also, I could go on about CM Punk's whole Jesus faux religious angle with the whole straight edge society in the PG era, and this was in 2010, I believe. So, yeah, Vince doesn't have a leg to stand on the whole we can't do a demon or a possession angle because PC era, even though we did all this other craziness in the PC era. And at best the most ones I mentioned were like at best 3 years apart from each other, with the straight edge society being nearly a decade apart. Yeah, so Vince could logically shut the fuck up on this and just do it. Just go ahead and do it. Or if you're not going to do that, come up with something better. You can do it. You keep thinking you're this creative genius. Show me that you're this creative genius instead of the fans coming up with ideas for you that you'll just give the biggest middle finger at, saying, that's stupid. Okay, let's steal their ideas, but horribly ruin it. So, yeah. The only known time that I do believe we got an internet idea put on the main roster at best was the Mizdow gimmick. Yeah, the Mizdow gimmick. The thing that saved Damien Sandow's career before Vince ruined it was actually an IWC idea. Triple H found it on one time, looking through the internet, according to reports, looked at that and approved upon it, and said, hey, let's do this. And look how that worked out, only for it to be horribly fucked up by Vince at the end of all of it. Especially, the beginning of the end was actually WrestleMania 31, but then they really screwed it up weeks later. So, yeah, that's the only time I can know that an internet-based idea was put on main rosterville. And they fucked it all up at the end. Because Vince hates people getting over organically. So, yeah, Finn Balor, he has nowhere to go now. He is not. He might not get in a He might not be allowed to compete at WrestleMania, and if he does, at best he'll probably lose at WrestleMania or be put in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal because fuck Finn Balor. And let's be honest, if you don't like this guy, if you don't see any potential with him, just let him go. There's no point now. You're clearly not going to put any effort with him, so why stay? Why stay in a company that treats you like crap? So, yeah, like, Finn Balor has hinted that he probably doesn't care, though, really, honestly, I wouldn't recommend just staying for the money, because at best, that's the only reason you're staying there. Like, you made a career off of this, you're only 36 years old at the time, like, your birthday's on July 25th, you're 36, you still have, like, at best 4 years, provided nothing else happens, so you can go somewhere with this. So go back to Japan. Go anywhere else. No, if you want, just ask yourself to get sent back to NXT. You'll be treated much more better there. Heck, he technically made his first return assisting Nakamura, who was outnumbered by Andre Cien Almas and Bobby Roode, back in February 22nd of 2017. And that wasn't an in-ring return. He just ran down there and helped. So, yeah, what's left? What's left here? Like, Vince clearly doesn't give two shits about you, and people were like saying, this is why Finn Balor should move to SmackDown. Okay, there's one huge major problem with that. If you had told me this was going to happen and whatnot, I would say, yeah, send him to SmackDown. Ryan Ward will do something with him. If Vince is not committed to do something, Ryan Ward will have the balls to do it. However, telling me this now, that wouldn't still work. Oh, not because of Ryan Ward being a bad writer. No. That's the exact opposite. He's too much of a good writer because Vince demoted him for being too much of a good writer, like they did with Paul Heyman, because God knows doing good at your job is a bad idea. Apparently, when Paul Heyman was lead writer of SmackDown and SmackDown was kicking Raw's ass in the ratings, despite the fact they didn't have the big established names they were pushing, they took him all from SmackDown. Yeah, that works out. SmackDown does that weakness in their favor and made new guys, and then Raw stole them and fired Paul Heyman off of the lead writer position. Same thing happens with Brian Ward. He makes new stars, Raw fucks it all up, and then he gets demoted for it. So, yeah. At this point, Bálor at best could leave. He could quit. In fact, from what the indication says, from what Vince mentality's running with, just take a picture with some guy from another company. That clearly will piss Vince off. So, yeah. And I only think Ryan Ward's staying because out of obligation to Triple H, because Triple H has given him the opportunity, but now Vince is just trying to take it all away from us and him. And also, Finn Bálor, let's see, he can either endure this torture until the end of his career, or go ahead and walk out. Or, and he would have to basically, and like I said with Bray Wyatt, he would have to wish Vince passes away soon. And then Triple H fixes everything. Or at least tries his damnedest to fix it. So, yeah. Those are his three options. Number 3 is highly unlikely because, one, that's a sick fucking idea. That's a horrible fucking idea to wish for Vince to die. Since Vince has left fans no choice but to think this because, let's be honest, he refuses to retire. Or just walk out. Just walk out. Like, even if Triple H takes over, at best it's going to be a tough process to get everything sorted out. And he still needs to get rid of Kevin Dunn afterwards. And Kevin Dunn's going to fight to the death on that, most likely. So, yeah, Finn Bálor, his run's over. He comes back, his run's over. There's nothing left to do in WWE other than just flounder around. Just soar through the clouds, doing nothing. So, unless something big happens for him in 2018, this might be the last time I ever talk about Finn Bálor's 27-year career thing, provided YouTube doesn't shut down due to the FCC stuff. But moving on from that, like I said, yeah, unless something big happens in 2018, do not expect me to talk about Finn Bálor in looking back on his 2018 run. So, yeah, that's it. That's a sad way to end this video on. Okay? So, those were my thoughts on Finn Bálor's disappointing 2017 and horrible future that most likely looks for him. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.